seeing you in your little like area is so cool to me. So do you have any idea how many VHS tapes you have?
You know what's funny? I had a feeling you were gonna ask me that, and I meant to count beforehand, and it's in the hundreds. I don't know like
Right,
how.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like like all these this shelf has got like I think somewhere between 12 to 14, depending. Most of them are face out, though. I do have some that are spine out. My goal was to have as many face out as I could because I just
Yeah.
like that because it's like you're going back into like a Blockbuster or a mom and pop video shop and you look at it. But and we actually part of my gift was these shelves were made by the people that helped put the room together, and the so facing outward there's like I think 14 to 15 per row with 1 2 3 4 5 rows, and there's 2 of those, and they're about 6 or 7 feet long. I can't remember which, 6 something, like 6.5 feet long. And so, and again, but on the ends of them I also have like a few that are facing spine out. In our area we have ski shows because we have like the original Cypress Gardens, which is like the original theme park, and it turned into Legoland, but they still kept part of the original Cypress Gardens Park for historical reasons. And there was always ski shows, right? Because we got lakes everywhere. And there was on one of the lakes, I think it was Lake Silver in Winter Haven, they were doing the ski show that he got to be a part of as a host that had a Blockbuster theme. And so they actually had somebody build shelves and other, props basically for so on there was like a stage that was right up against the lake, and they had like shelves with fake videos in it and actually real VHS tapes and stuff. And then they would have the skiers like in the background doing a show, right? Everybody's dressed like it's a Blockbuster. It was kind of fun. It was really cool. Well, they stopped the show. They was like, it run its course. They were done. And he texted me on Halloween because I was getting ready to do a haunted house that my cousin put on in his neighborhood, which was awesome. That's a whole other thing. And he goes, "Hey man, they've got these like actual, like authentic video store shelves, and they're just going to chuck them. Do you want them?" I'm like, "Oh," but the problem was I only had so much space. So he told me how big they were. And I was like, I knew I could at least get one. And they're very cool because they are like these like triangular thing. And there's like videos on either side of them. I've already got them filled. One side is everything's facing out. The other side is actually like everything's spine, and they're mostly DVDs mixed with some VHS. And then behind me, I have like this L shape that's got mostly DVDs on it on one side and Blu-ray, and then the other side is like VHS. So again, it's like a mix. I do not have like on a number scale. There's no way like I have even close to what like Peter or Dave Becker has, that kind of stuff. I don't have close to them, but the ones I have are like close to my heart.
I did want to ask you too, because I have one. I kind of accidentally got one, but I accidentally got a beta tape. So I have
two.
the Empire.
You do? Two. Yes. They were not accidental. I don't have your excuse to go with. I intentionally bought them because I'm a dork. Why? Isn't that weird? Did you see the balloons fly up?
Yes, I did.
So
why did that?
I don't know. The other day we were recording something and a thumbs up. And here's the thing: we're not live streaming this, so it's not like somebody. I don't know why that just happened. That is so. So anyone who sees the video of this, Pennywise is not in the shop.
What did we just say? I wonder, is it
congratulations? No, that didn't do it. Would that be, dude? That's creepy. If all I had to do was say a word and that made it happen, I'm out. This is bizarre. I'm out of here. I'm going to go live off the grid in the middle of nowhere.
I know, me too. Done. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I have the original 50s Invasion of the Body Snatchers on beta, and I think the other one may be Day of the Triffids, though I'm not. I think it's another sci-fi horror kind of movie. No, it's them. It's them. The ant movie, the killer ant movie. Yeah, that's the two I've got. Cool. Yeah.
Well, so how much of your collection do you think you've seen then that you've personally watched?
That are actually mine? Because a lot of these are recollected, right, over the last several years. So,
I see what you're saying.
I mean, here's what I'll do. A lot of them, as like, because now, especially now I've got the console TV, if I'm just puttering around, going in and out, I'll put it on, right, to see if it works. Now, the only thing is, every once in a while, I'm trying to find one that would be a good example of this. Because a lot of these, what I love is, by the way, I don't know how you feel about this. I love finding ones in the wild, right? So, Goodwill, thrift store, flea market, yard sale, or like a Viper video type place. I call that in the wild versus online, which I don't mind buying stuff off eBay, but I kind of feel like that's like this. I got off. Whoa, don't follow something about something I'm going to show you in a minute. I almost fell over. So I got this Fright Night Part 2 of VHS. And it's off of eBay. And what's cool is this one definitely adheres to my point about what I was about to say, which is, and by the way, on Amazon, I believe you can get these plastic covers that are really good. They're not super expensive. They end up being like $1 a piece, like 10 for $10. So I kind of buy them periodically to put my nicer tapes
your nicest ones in. That's awesome.
But this is the same poster that I've got. Again, this is one of my all-time favorite 80s posters, and I love this movie. But the tape is from Dave's Movies and More, and it actually says it on the which, if anybody watching, I'm trying to show it in the camera here.
Yeah,
but I love finding tapes in the wild that are from like old video stores. And I found a lot there's one, I think I got a lot of them from Viper Video, and then a guy named Dewey Sean, who's a comedian and a collector, and he sells a lot of stuff at cons, and that's how I met him. Actually, that's how I met Robbie. Robbie turns out lives very close to me. Dewey, I think, lives a couple hours away in Gainesville, but I met them both first time at a con when they had like all these VHS tapes, like $4 a pop. They were good stuff. I was like, well, I'll buy $60 of these. And so, but a lot of his stuff and a lot of Viper Video, I've ended up with a bunch from this place called, it was from Homer, Alaska. And I can't remember the name of the video store, but it's like a mom and pop video shop from Alaska, Homer, Alaska. They all have the same sticker on them. And some of them, what I love is when you open them, and this is the only reason I wouldn't want to replay those in a weird way, they're like half viewed. So it's almost like it's frozen in time in the space where the last person watched it, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, it does.
And so it's like there's a part of me that it's like if I watch it, it's going to rewind on Mac. Like this one's been rewound. This one was rewound, so no big deal. And I might put it on just to see if it still plays. The only other thing that also makes me nervous is some of these end up looking, they're like yellow, and they are old tech, right? And I don't want it to break or jam up the VCR. So I am a little cautious with the older tapes, but some of the newer tapes I get through Brainbuster Video or Lunch Meat VHS, those are brand spanking new. Those I have no problem. Pop them in. I'll watch those, and I have them play in the background. Those I definitely do. A lot of these older ones, I will put them in just to like see if they work or whatever, and watch part of them. But a lot of them I'm just careful with because, again, I don't want to break. And if I happen to come across one and it's from I think like this one, this is a thing of Fangoria's Weekend of Horrors compilation tape from 1986, from your birth year, and it was put out by Media. This one I think is one of those, where it's like half watched. So whoever last had this, and it's got this sticker on the cover. I don't think it was a video store. I think it may have been sold in like a shop somewhere. But my point is, there's just something about knowing that this belonged to somebody, who knows who, could have been anybody, right? Probably a regular schmo just like me, but that it has it's like frozen in time. In that last moment, somebody stopped it and never bothered rewinding it. I know that's a weird thing, but like that's like weirdly means something to me, and I can't explain why.
No, you talking about it makes me like actually sad that I don't have more VHS, and this shelf, oh gosh, it's like backwards. This shelf over here, the bottom of it is completely full of VHS.
Yeah.
Because my parents were like, we're not going to keep all these VHS. And I was like, well, that they're all from my childhood. So I was like, I'm going to keep them at least for now, and but that's such a cool thing. Cause like I was going to tell you, just now, it's like, me watching my copy is special to me for whatever reason. But there is this reality too, that it's like, you don't just buy a copy of a movie so that you can see it, right? Because like we've said, like you could stream that, you could,
and a lot of these
go to your friend's
multiple
house
times. Yes, exactly.
Yes, but it's like there's something special about owning it.
Yes,
and there's something like you said about like the DVDs don't do that. The other forms of media don't do that. But VHS was special in that, like, you could leave off right where you left off because it's literally winding the tape through one side to the next. So it's so cool to me that it's this physical thing in there. But
not to be like self-promotional, but I thought you'd appreciate this. Also right here is the short film that I did that was in the whole Fangoria blood.
Yes. Please tell me, because I've got my film on my shelf, and
I actually have a VHS copy of the Fangoria release from Video Gallery. So it's from a video store, and it's the actual one that was put up in a video, because honestly, that was one of seeing my name in an issue of Fangoria and going into I was a Blockbuster, actually had the DVD, and I have that over on a different shelf. Yes, I own multiple copies of my own movie. Judge me if you will. I don't care.
Me too.
But the fact that it got released, like a wide release to video stores by Fangoria, and I've got the VHS version and the DVD, and I believe both of my copies are from video stores. So that makes
so cool.
it's such a cheesy thing, but I freaking love it. I love it so much.
No, that's awesome.
I also have been I get like movie replicas because I would love to get original movie props. Like that would be a dream. But I don't know if you've ever tried to look into how much real movie props cost. Unless you get lucky. Let's just say you would want to have like deep pockets and lots of insurance on those items because they are not cheap.
Yeah, so crazy, but
it's crazy. But replicas are more reasonable, and you're supporting usually like a small art, like local artist type of person.
Yeah.
Who's doing it. So I don't know if you can see him here. I have from Tales from the Crypt. I've shown him before on the channel. I actually have a hat on him right now, but I've got Morty from there's a Tales from the Crypt episode with Bobcat Goldthwait and Don Rickles, where Don Rickles' character ends up having, spoiler alert, a conjoined twin on his arm that he uses as a ventriloquist dummy, but the twin is like completely psychopathic. And so I've got that, which is awesome. I've got a minion from The Gate. That's what's right there. And then over here, I picked up a Munchie from the movie Munchies from 1987. With he's got the sneakers and everything. I love this little guy. He's awesome. I got a great deal on him. And so definitely, and we did a video about it on the Mom and Pop Video Shop channel. But yeah, so those are just some of the things. And then the last thing, this is not even related to collectibles as far as VHS or replicas or any of that stuff. But I thought you, as a filmmaker, would appreciate this. So as a guy who came of age and sort of was into indie filmmaking back in the late 90s into the early 2000s, my dream camera, and I think every independent filmmaker from that era, there was Canon had a series of cameras they put out, started with like the XL1, and I want to say that was like 99, 2000-ish. Maybe it was even 2002-ish. But then around 2002 or 4, I think it was maybe 4, they came out with something called the Canon XL2. Okay. And it was thousands and thousands of dollars, but it was like the camera that if you were an independent filmmaker, wasn't using film, like at that point, people were still using like 16 millimeter film and stuff. This is the camera used. Now, a lot of shot on video stuff from that time period was shot on the XL2, including, I think, although I could be wrong, 28 Days Later, the zombie flick that Danny Boyle made, I think was shot on a Canon XL1 or 2. I can't remember which. So it's like those kind of movies were being shot on that camera, right? I have a friend that we've known for several years now, and she works in theater as like a lighting director, and she works with different colleges. And one of the colleges had been donated to them a Canon XL2, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'd love to see it sometime." So she brought it, and it was in like the big metal box, and I got it out, and this thing was in like cherry condition, man, beautiful. And these things still, you buy them off eBay and they're in the hundreds of dollars. Like you could get for like what I would say is a reasonable price, but of course, it's a crapshoot. You don't know if it works. Well, anyway, I tested this thing out. It worked beautiful. Long story short, for my birthday, my wife bought for me the Canon XL2. It is the mini DV, like 720 by 480. It does 16 by 9 and 4:3. I'm currently shooting a promo video I'm intentionally making super cheesy, like a 90s era video store locally produced commercial kind of thing. And so this is the camera that I'm trying to shoot segments of it on with. And I actually thought, now that I have it, it works great. I'm like, I feel like doing like a found footage film or something, like as if it took place in the early 2000s, shot with this. Because as opposed to like, look, I have a 4K Panasonic camera that I also got for Christmas that I love. It's a fantastic camera. It's amazing. That's actually what I'm using right now, is my little webcam. The quality of these cameras is insane. I mean, I'm not a videographer, so I'm very much a normie. I'm a layman, unlike you, who like actually has the skill set. But even for me, I'm like, oh my, what this thing can do, it's insane. But the problem is, if you want it to look like crappy kind of shot on video, it's almost more work to make newer cameras look bad than it is to just find an old camera that works and just use that. So that was my logic. But I thought you would appreciate that.
Dude, that's amazing. And Joel, this has been so awesome. I feel like I could sit here and talk to you forever about your collection, because we didn't even touch on like I guess he's not quite life size, but clown behind you.
Yeah, the poltergeist clown from Tammy. Fatal Images. I've talked about that in the show before as well. But I love that thing so much. It's so great. Yeah.
Joel, this is so cool. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure. Like, I'm just happy that my kids get to grow up around this nonsense.
Yeah.
And that I get the pleasure of sharing it with people and like you and anybody watching this. And it makes me happy.